Now that you know all these types of data, these are the types of research you should do before making a film. For me personally, I would like to start with desk research before audience research. This is because you will have a deeper understanding of the genre of your film before you research into the audience. If you don't know what to film at this point, make a list of all genres of film you want to film, and once you're done, you start to reject some ideas that are too ambitious to make. For example, you wouldn't want to film a comedy or a sci-fi film because it's just too hard, unless you're a comedian or a really good actor. Now, I'm not saying you can't do it, but it will be very challenging. Now that you narrow down your list into one or two genres, you should start to do some secondary research about them, as you will learn from what others have produced. You're most likely going to search up, let's say for example, horror films, or the film you're making in Google. As you do that, you probably find websites such as Wikipedia and Rotten Tomatoes. These sources, for example, Wikipedia may be unreliable as anyone can edit the site, meaning that you can be reading and using sources from a kid. However, if you're more advanced, you may do some research on online reference systems such as EBSCO. It is more reliable as they only contain sources which are credible and venerable, meaning that they are made by someone trusted well and experienced in that subject. Either way, a good student would use a method called triangulation. This is where you will look at all the different types of sources as they are from different perspectives, allowing you to analyze your final approach to the film more consistently. In this case, you should look at Wikipedia, Rotten Tomatoes, and EBSCO to triangulate the sources and to come up with a consistent conclusion of the filming requirements for the genre of your film. You should also watch some student award-winning films. These are short and makeable, whereas films from, I don't know, the cinemas are just too ambitious to do. Take notes and extract information from the film, such as the location, iconography used, clothing, visual effects, etc. What you shouldn't do is sit back and watch as you wouldn't be learning anything. You should start to do some research into the audience once you understand how the genre of your film works. Let's start off with audience research. Audience research is essential as you are making a film for them and not for you. You may want to make a questionnaire or focus group depending on what type of data you prefer. I would personally do two, or both. I would do both if I were you. Questionnaires are good if you prefer quantitative data over qualitative data. This is where you ask yes-no questions or on a scale of 1 to 10. These are simple questions so you can present your data easier, whereas questions based on people's opinions are more complicated, making it messy when it comes to presenting your data. You should avoid asking qualitative or long answer questions in questionnaires. You should include a filter question to ensure that the respondents will be able to answer subsequent questions. Finally, don't just send it to your friends, send it to everyone. If you only send it to your boyfriends, you'd only get to know your sample, the people you asked, and not the real audience. This will be biased and you should avoid that. If you're planning to make a horror film, here are some good examples you may want to ask your audience. For example, why is it that you watch horror films, or what are your fears? And of course, there are also bad examples you should avoid, like do you eat popcorn when watching horror films, or do you use your film before the movie starts? As you can see, good examples contain information that is precise and relevant, whereas bad examples contain information which is irrelevant. I mean, why would you care if people eat popcorn in a horror movie? Now, let's move on to focus groups. If you prefer qualitative data, then creating a focus group will be better than a questionnaire. A focus group is where you gather a specific target audience, not more than 5, and ask them their opinions on certain things. It is recorded as you need to analyze it. It's like an interview, and it's a great way to collect qualitative data. You may want to pick specific and capable people. By this, I mean you may want to gather some capable students from different year groups to answer and give their opinions to your questions. You may also want to ask a questionnaire You may want to ask the people if you send out a questionnaire if they're willing to do a focus group or not. Again, a good student will triangulate and send out a questionnaire to obtain quantitative data as well as organizing a focus group. This is to obtain different perspectives and to be more consistent when analyzing.